Was good, y'all? Red Sosa back in a building with another banger. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started, thank you, God, for another day and another opportunity. And as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, today I'm going to be showing y'all how to create the first ever balanced offensive guard build on NBA 2K23 next gen, and this build is also going to be applicable to current gen as well. Now, I know this is called an offensive build, but when it comes down to the defensive end, we're definitely able to hold our own. Now, as far as when it comes down to the badge count, we're going to be able to get a total of 81 badges today. Now, if you did decide to click on today's video, I just want to say thank you so much for your support. But if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new. Turn on post notifications because I'm uploading every single day, and y'all definitely don't want to miss the content that I got in store for y'all this year. Now, I'm trying to reach 5,000 big supporters, so man, I would appreciate it if y'all really went ahead and hit that like button. Be sure to comment down below, where are you tuning in from watching today? And comment down TG for thank God, and I most definitely got y'all with the response. Now, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of this build. Like I said, we're going to be making this out of the shooting guard position. Now, everything that goes into this build when it comes down to the physicals, the attributes, even when it comes down to the takeovers, is really going to make this build one of the best and most rare shooting guards that you're going to be seeing. Now, we're going to go with the height of 6'8" today. When it comes down to the weight, I decided to go with 212. And then for the wingspan, I'm going to go with 7'6". Now, with the way that I'm making this build, reminds me of a few different players mixed in one. One's going to be Paul George, also Kobe Bryant, then also a little bit of Vince Carter. Now, when it comes down to the body shape, this should be really based to your own liking, but I'm going to go with defined or builds. Now, let's go ahead and get started with the physicals on this build. And the main thing that I'm always going to focus on first will be this area, because it's going to give us a clear idea of what the build is actually going to be able to do and look like. So I'm going to max out my speed at an 83. When it comes down to the acceleration, I'm going to go with the 78. 80 when it comes down to my strength, and you can adjust this to your own liking. Now, we're going to be able to get the pro contact dunks, so we need to go with at least a 75 vertical. Now, my strength and my stamina are going to be two of the main areas of this build that I want to focus on for the physicals. As long as you go with the vertical of 75, max out that acceleration and speed, I'm going to go with the 90 stamina to end it off. And then for my strength, I did want to be sure that on this build, I was going to be able to drive inside the lane and still be able to catch a body with my strength being maxed out. Now, when it comes down to the shooting on this build, go with an 83 for both the mid-range and the three-pointer. Now, for the free throw, I'm going to go with an 84. Now, this right here gives us a total of 23 shooting badges. And a few of the badges that I'm looking at are going to be Hall of Fame Mini Magician. We're also going to be able to get Catch and Shoot on Gold, Green Machine, as well as Amped. And I'm letting you know right now, if you're struggling with shooting, Amped on the highest tier that you can unlock it at is definitely going to help that out. So go ahead and test this badge, and I'm telling you, it's really going to change the way that you're shooting this year. Now, when it comes down to the playmaking, what I'm going to do is make sure that I'm going to go with the 85 pass accuracy as well as a ball handle. Then when it comes down to the speed with ball, I'm going to go with the 77. Now, right here, we're able to get Hall of Fame ankle breaker. Now, I'm telling you, in the past, this badge was not activating or even being used correctly. But this year, I have gotten some ankle breaking animations, and this badge has popped up. So if you're looking to test out some new playmaking badges, this is definitely the one that I would go with. But as far as for the rest of the badges on tier 3, we're going to be able to use a lot of different badges. Let me just go ahead and say that right now. Now, once we go ahead and get into the finishing, what I'm going to do when it comes down to the post control, go with the 78. Now, keep in mind, I also said we're going to be able to get the pro contact dunks. So from here, for my driving dunk, go with an 84. 80 for the driving layup, and a 76 for my close shot. This right here is going to bring us up to a total of 19 badges for the finishing. Now, I'm telling you, this build is really shaping out to be perfect. 23 badges just for the playmaking, also for the shooting. Then when we get 19 when it comes down to the finishing, especially when it comes down to the badges, we get Pro Touch on Hall of Fame. Then also we do unlock Posterizer, Limitless Takeoff on Silver, as well as Fearless Finisher. A lot of great badges when it comes down to the breakdown of this build. Now, when it comes down to the defensive end, make sure that you copy these stats exactly, because this is what's going to allow us to be more balanced overall. I'm going to go with the 71 for the interior defense. 81 for my perimeter. Now for the block, go with the 75. For the defensive rebound, I'm going to bring this up to a 74. And right here, we're going to be able to get 16 defensive badges. Now, if you do want to change anything about the attributes, do it after we get the actual build name and the making. Now, without adding any extra badges toward this build, we're going to be able to get 81 just off rip. Now, overall, I think this build wraps up to be perfectly just because we have everything that we need when it comes down to the offensive end, and still we're able to play some pretty solid defense, especially being able to get 16 badges. Now, once you get the +4 from becoming a starter in my career, that's going to be able to allow us to get a total of 20 defensive badges, and this is still a balanced offensive guard. Now, once we go ahead and get into the takeovers, this is going to allow us to get some of the best 99 plus stats. Now, the 99 stats that we will be able to get are going to be the mid-range, three-pointer, ball handle, and the pass accuracy. Now, for the takeovers, as you can see, we get the shot creating. Now, out of these, I would go with ankle breaking shots or pull-up precision. Second one, we do get the sharpshooting, and I would go with limitless range. Now, once we go ahead and get into the third takeover, out of these three, for the playmaking, I would go with team ratings boost. And then finally, we're still able to unlock a lockdown defender takeover out of this build, which is only going to help us out more overall. Now, out of all of the takeovers on this build, if you want to go with double offensive, that is perfectly okay. But you could even go with double defensive, and that's really going to change this build to how we look at it. Can be even a catfish build if you make it how I did. But even if you do go with double defensive takeovers, the ones that I would pick are going to be perimeter batch drop. But if you want to split it right down the middle, you can even go with enhanced jump shot contest or another sharpshooting takeover. Now, whichever one you decide to go with, make sure you pick the takeovers that are based to your own playstyle and liking. Now, the first one that I'm going to go with is going to be limitless range. The second one, if I'm going to go with double offensive, I would go with pull-up precision or ankle breaking shots if I want to have more fun. Now, either one of these is going to be okay, but you can even go with double playmaking takeovers, and this one is going to allow us to be able to get that 99 ball handle. Now, for the pass accuracy, this is going to be applied as well. Now, let's go ahead and make sure we made the build correctly. And as y'all can see, we get the comparisons of Jaylen Brown. And coming up, we have created together the first ever balanced offensive guard. Now, if you made it this far into the video, go ahead and let me know. What do y'all think about this build? And if you're looking to make any changes or adjustments, be sure to go ahead and comment down below what would you change about this build. Now, for everybody who actually messes with this build, I would appreciate it if y'all went ahead and hit that like button. That's definitely going to help me out. And now when it comes down to the actual breakdown of the badges, I'm going to show y'all the exact layout of what I went with when it comes down to each of the 4 categories. So for the tier 1 on the finishing, I did go with Silver, Acrobat, and Back Down Punisher. Then from there, I did go with Hall of Fame Pro Touch. Now out of tier 2, Fearless Finisher, and then tier 3, Limitless Takeoff with Posterizer. Now for my core badge, I did pick Posterizer, but you can change this up to any one of your liking. Now for the count of what we did get for the total badge count, I think we have everything going forward into the year to be able to possibly even reach 100 badges on this build if we're able to continuously unlock extra badge points. Now when it comes down to the shooting, the main badges that I'm looking at here are going to be Mini Magician on Hall of Fame, also get Amped on Gold, as well as Green Machine and Catch and Shoot. Now for the silver tiers, we also get Slippery Off Ball, Agent 3, and then Bronze, Limitless Range. Now for the setup of badges that I always pick when it comes down to my shooting, I tend to pick badges that are solely going to be able to upgrade my shooting percentage. So that's why I say one of the best badges that you can use this year is going to be Amped on Gold, especially getting it out of the tier 1. That makes it so much better of a badge. Now when it comes down to the playmaking, I think we have everything that's pretty solid here. We get Ankle Breaker and Hall of Fame. Now this badge definitely works this year in a new way. Then we also get Silver Hyperdrive, Gold Quick First Step, and then out of tier 3, I went with Silver Handles for Days, Killer Combos, and then Gold Core Unpluckable. Now for all of the badges that I was able to get out of tier 3, if you want to, you can go ahead and add any extra badge points that you unlock to this area of the build, and you're going to be able to use every single tier 3 badge at the maximum level. Now overall, I think for the offensive end, we've seen enough, but when it comes down to the defensive, I'm feeling the badge layout that I went with. So for tier 1, I went with Silver Ankle Braces, Box Out Beast, as well as Brick Wall. Then when it comes down to tier 2, I went with gold chase down artists, and then we're still able to use some tier 3 badges. Now remember, I said if you add on the extra 4 badges to the defensive end, you'll be able to get 20 total defensive badges on an offensive build. Now for tier 3, I went with anchor on bronze as well as silver challenger. And going forward, this is what the build is exactly going to be looking like. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who made it to the end of the video. Comment down TG for thank God, and again, I got y'all with a response. But man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, and turn on post notifications to be a part of the Rich family, and be sure to smash that like button. But man, with all that being said, thank you God for another day and another opportunity. Thank y'all, and I got one last thing to say. Rich out.